So could you tell us a little bit about the special admit process here at San Jose State?
Yeah, so our special admit process is essentially a process that is managed by the Educational Opportunity Program, and it's an opportunity for any students who did not meet San Jose State University's minimum eligibility index of 2,900, a score of 2,900 for the SAT, and that's a combined score of their GPA using an equation to determine eligibility, or 694 with the ACT. And basically the university compiles a list of students who were not admitted through that process but were within a 2,700 to 2,899 range in that eligibility index, and will forward those applicants who were also qualified for EOP to our program, and then we screen them to determine, okay, how many students are in this process, and then we end up sending them all an email notification with an application notifying them that they are eligible for this process, but they have to apply by filling out an application with additional questions that they have to respond to.
About how many students are intimately accepted or allowed to be in special admit?
It varies from year, or it has varied from year to year. This past year we admitted 21 students. We're allowed to admit up to 30 is the maximum that the university will allow us to admit through this process.
And does that change from college to college, or?
Yes, it's different from within the CSU system. All 23 campuses have their own special admission process. At San Jose State, we're allowed up to 30. At other campuses, they're allowed up to 60, 100. There are some campuses that have no maximum number of students that they're allowed to admit. They can admit as many as they see fit and that they think will be successful at their university.
And with those students that are accepted, is there a process they kind of go through to transition into the university?
Yes, so here at San Jose State, any student that is admitted through the special admission process is required to complete the Summer Bridge program, which is a 5-week academic boot camp, as we like to call it, where they're in class every day, 5 days a week, starting class at 8 a.m. and they end their day at 9:30 p.m. And so they're in class that entire time or participating in some kind of activity that is meant to assist them in developing skills and making sure that they acclimate to the university properly. And then they end up participating in a year-long cohort during their first year, which we call the Summer Bridge cohort. And they take general education courses throughout that first year that are intended to assist in developing a strong foundation towards persistence for graduation.
And are they followed up through, like, after their first year of college?
Yes, so after the first year, we check up on them in terms of their grades and their GPA to make sure that they are at the minimum expectation that we have for them after their first year as a program here. And that's a 2.6 GPA is what we ask that they achieve their first semester and their second semester. And then beyond that, we expect them to maintain a 2.3 GPA or higher every semester. If they fall below that, then they end up on EOP pre-probation, which means that they have to complete additional requirements. And so we check up on them every semester after their first year that way, also through their requirements and the meetings that they have to have with their academic advisors every semester.
Oh, okay. And is that kind of tracked along those 4 years, kind of how many kind of typically stay in the program?
Well, so far this process has only been in existence since 2012, so we haven't quite reached the full 4-year tracking through to graduation. But so far what we've noticed is that the retention of our special admits is extremely high. So far, all of our special admits that we've admitted have pretty much stayed at San Jose State and excelled and done extremely well during their time here.
Oh, okay. That's a lot of...
So all of them have made it through? All the ones have been accepted?
So far, yes.
Okay.
Keep in mind, though, that the first year that we had the special admission process in 2012, we admitted, I think it was 5. And then the second year in 2013, we admitted 12.
Okay.
This year is the year that we've admitted the most. So it's been a fluctuation in numbers from year to year. Well, actually, it's more on an increase lately, and we're hoping to next year have the full 30 who are admitted. But because it is a selective process in deciding who gets admitted and who doesn't, just because we have 30 spaces, we don't intend to fill those 30 spaces unless we believe that the students are actually going to succeed.
Okay. So gradually it's been increasing
Yeah.
since the program began.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the only reason why with us it began in 2012 is because prior to 2012 we did not have a summer bridge program, and prior to 2010 EOP was practically non-existent at San Jose State.
Mm.
So the special admission process has existed in the CSU for a much longer time, for many years. So it just, at San Jose State, that process was gone for a decade.
Oh, so the admissions held the special admit process before?
There was no, as far as I know, there was no special admit process during the time that EOP was practically non-existent, which was from the early 2000s to 2010. And that's because the EOP budget had been depleted, so there were no academic advisors for EOP. There was no staff. There was one coordinator to oversee 2,000 students.
That's quite a bit. So the UP program every year, is it increasing with the number of students it's been accepting, as far as just the general admission?
From 2010 to where we're at now, the numbers are definitely much higher. I think we are now at a number of students that we want to stay at, which is 1,900 students, and that's the area that we want to stay at. We don't necessarily want to admit more students than that, nor do we want to have less, because that is an ideal number considering the services and the number of staff that we have and the resources that we're able to provide.
Oh, okay. And it kind of fits in well with the budget that EOP has?
Yeah.
Can you go more into like the specific standards by which you accept students, like the process
Yeah.
besides the index?
Yes. So the way that it works is the university will identify a number of applicants and let us know, okay, this is how many students we've identified as students who may qualify for the special admit process. They were within this range, within the eligibility index, and so they may stand a chance, if they're admitted through your process. This year we received a list with, I believe it was 120 students who were on that list. We sent out an email message to all of them, and we sent them a letter to their mailing address letting them know that they had been identified as potential candidates for this process. They had to fill out the application. The application had 4 essay questions on it, and asked for a copy of their transcripts, letters of recommendation, some information about them. And essentially, in the questions, what we were seeking to know is what were the challenges or things that prevented them from meeting the San Jose State eligibility index, and that's their opportunity to explain. And there's a wide range of explanations. There are some students who lost, for example, I'm thinking of one student whose application I got to read this past year. His father passed away from cancer when he was in junior high. His mother passed away at the end of his sophomore year due to cancer as well. He ended up becoming a child of the foster care system by the end of his sophomore year. And when you think about all those the things that can impact a person's life, you see that in his grades as the grades start to plummet. So there's a wide range of different reasons for why a student may not meet the eligibility index, the minimum score for the eligibility index. And keep in mind that every campus's eligibility index is different. San Jose State is higher than quite a few of the CSU campuses. If you look at a place like San Diego State or Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, their eligibility index is even higher. There you would have someone who might be a special admit coming in with a 3.8 cumulative GPA and a 2,400 SAT score. But it's just based on impaction of the campus and the demand for that. So here, that's our eligibility index. After we screen their applications, we decide to interview all of them. So in this case, we had 68 applicants. We interviewed all 68. In the interview process, we asked them a series of questions to gauge how serious they are about their education, their readiness to actually perform at the college level. So are they serious? Are they willing to be realistic and put the time and the effort that will be necessary for them to succeed at San Jose State? Are they willing to utilize the services, to go to tutoring, to participate in the summer bridge program, to participate in the cohort, to fulfill all the EOP requirements and all the additional requirements that they will have to complete because they are special admits? And after that interview, we evaluate the applications, the phone interviews, and decide which ones we want to invite to participate in the summer bridge program, and ultimately, upon completion of the summer bridge program, receive special admission. If the students do not satisfactorily complete the summer bridge program, their admission to San Jose State is revoked. So that's a condition of their admission, is that they must complete the summer bridge program. And generally what we find is that students who are admitted through the special admit process often end up outperforming the students who were admitted through